Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The Miami Dolphins opened the 2025 season with high expectations, endless talk about new energy, and plenty of noise about the vibes around the building. But all that optimism came crashing down in an ugly Week 1 loss to the Indianapolis Colts. It wasn't just a defeat, it was an embarrassment, a complete unraveling that left fans stunned and the organization scrambling for answers. And when you see head coach Mike McDaniel, a man usually calm, witty, and protective of his locker room, step up to the podium and break character in such a raw, almost unfiltered way, you know this isn't just about football tactics. This is about the soul of the team, about accountability, and about a head coach who feels the walls closing in faster than anyone could have predicted. Make no mistake, Miami's season isn't over, but the warning lights are flashing red already. McDaniel's comments after the loss were a departure from his usual tone, a glimpse into a man frustrated by the lack of execution and stunned by how unprepared his team looked. It was embarrassing, flat out. He admitted, words rarely spoken by NFL head coaches in public. He didn't sugarcoat it, didn't throw cliches at the media, didn't attempt to shield his players behind the usual curtain of privacy. Instead, he owned the pain but also pointed out, in blunt terms, that the very things they had spent months working on simply didn't show up on the field. That raw honesty is refreshing in one sense, but it also opens a new dynamic. If McDaniel is this candid in Week 1, if he's already peeling back layers of his own protective style, what does that mean for the months ahead? The Dolphins wanted accountability, and now it's here in its harshest form. What stood out even more was McDaniel's decision to call out a player by name, something he almost never does. In trying to explain where breakdowns occurred, he pointed directly to veteran defensive lineman Zach Sealer, acknowledging that the dependable leader vacated his rush lane in search of a sack, leading to an explosive play for the Colts. McDaniel was respectful in tone, not malicious, but it was still a striking shift in approach. Fans and analysts immediately noticed, because this isn't the kind of family business that usually gets aired in public. And it's not insignificant that this happened after only one game. If McDaniel is already resorting to examples like this to drive home his point, it suggests he feels something deeper is broken, something that can't just be fixed by shrugging off one bad Sunday. That's a storyline worth monitoring, because cracks this early tend to grow if not patched immediately. On the other side, players like Bradley Chubb framed the loss in a way that seemed to place the responsibility squarely on themselves. Chubb admitted the defense freelanced, admitted communication broke down, and admitted they simply weren't playing as one unit. It's the classic post-game accountability line from a team captain, but paired with McDaniel's own comments, it paints an uncomfortable picture. The coaches are saying one thing, the players another, and somewhere in between sits the uncomfortable truth. Neither side had the discipline, preparation, or cohesion to handle Week 1. The Colts weren't reinventing the wheel, Chubb said, and yet Miami still looked confused. That's not just on execution, that's on coaching as well. And when the captain says, "We were making up our own stuff," it raises questions about just how aligned this roster is with the coaching staff's vision. Now, let's talk about vibes, because that's what dominated conversations all offseason. The Dolphins invested heavily in reshaping their roster, turning over nearly half of last year's group, and promised that this year would be about clarity, unity, and a fresh identity. Instead, what we saw was chaos, lack of trust, and a team completely disconnected from the preparation preached all summer. McDaniel himself admitted the team wasn't ready, which is both brutally honest and incredibly alarming. Week 1 games can be messy, but when the head coach says he didn't see the work show up at all, that's not just rust. That's a systemic failure. Fans can accept a close loss. They can stomach early mistakes, but they won't accept a team that looks unprepared and disorganized. That kills belief faster than any injury or setback, and McDaniel knows this. That's why his comments feel like controlled panic. The risk in McDaniel's new approach is simple. If the players take it the wrong way, if they feel thrown under the bus rather than supported, this could spiral quickly. NFL locker rooms are fragile ecosystems, especially when the head coach builds his culture around empowerment and player leadership. When that foundation gets shaken, when players start to wonder whether their mistakes will be blasted publicly, trust erodes. McDaniel is playing with fire, no doubt, and while his intentions might be to wake the team up, the method matters. Great coaches know when to protect and when to challenge, and McDaniel has chosen challenge in the harshest form after just one game. If it backfires, if the locker room tunes him out, accountability will no longer be a shared word. It will be a weapon pointed back at him. That's the gamble he's making right now. Ultimately, this is about more than one loss. It's about whether Miami can maintain belief in the man steering the ship and whether McDaniel himself can balance accountability with leadership. The Dolphins have bigger front office questions lingering, and fans have been waiting years for this team to break through in meaningful ways. But none of that will matter if the culture fractures, if execution continues to collapse, and if the finger-pointing turns inward. McDaniel has already made himself part of the story, which is never the position a head coach wants after week one. From here, it's a test of resilience, of communication, and of whether this group can rally before the season spirals. Because make no mistake, the vibes aren't just bad right now, they're fragile. And if Miami doesn't find its footing soon, this could be the beginning of a long, messy year in South Florida. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? The NFL world is buzzing with whispers that have now taken a more concrete shape. Jonathan Taylor, one of the most explosive running backs of the last decade, has reportedly confirmed his move to the Miami Dolphins. This news has set off a chain reaction across social media, with fans speculating how the Dolphins' offensive strategy will change with Taylor in the backfield. Analysts are already debating how his unique blend of power, speed, and vision will integrate with a team that has been desperate for a true game-changing running back. Imagine Taylor bursting through defensive lines, turning what once were marginal gains into massive plays, providing not only a spark for Miami's offense, but a psychological edge against division rivals. Even casual fans are starting to rethink the Dolphins' potential for the upcoming season, wondering if this is the missing piece that finally makes Miami a legitimate contender, a scenario that seemed improbable until now. Rumors began circulating late last week, initially dismissed as typical off-season chatter, yet sources close to the team have started confirming the chatter, creating a firestorm of excitement and speculation. Insider voices suggest that Taylor's decision was influenced by the Dolphins' commitment to building a balanced offense capable of dominating both on the ground and through the air, something he has craved after years of fluctuating support in his previous team. The signing, if fully confirmed, could dramatically reshape how opponents approach Miami, forcing defensive coordinators to rethink their game plans entirely. The narrative is now thick with anticipation, as commentators speculate about the strategic implications. Could Taylor finally get the offensive line support he has deserved, or will he redefine the Dolphins' offensive identity almost single-handedly? Social media has erupted with memes, highlight reels, and speculation about how Taylor's chemistry with the Dolphins' quarterback could rewrite expectations for the AFC East, elevating Miami from a perennial middling team to a serious threat in the division. Jonathan Taylor's arrival in Miami isn't just a football move. It's being framed as a cultural shift within the team, a signal to fans that the Dolphins are willing to make bold, headline-grabbing moves to secure elite talent. Sources close to the locker room suggest that players are energized, eager to see what a running back of Taylor's caliber can contribute to a team that has struggled for consistency in the backfield for years. Rumors abound that Taylor's presence could influence the drafting strategy, free agent pursuits, and even coaching philosophies moving forward, creating a ripple effect across the organization. Analysts point out that Taylor's versatility, ability to break tackles, and vision could open up previously untapped offensive schemes, forcing opponents to prepare for a multidimensional threat that Miami has lacked. The intrigue surrounding this potential move has captured not only Miami fans, but the entire NFL audience, reigniting debates about how much a single player can shift a franchise's trajectory. Discussions in NFL circles have intensified as speculation grows about the financial and contractual details, with insiders hinting at a lucrative deal that matches Taylor's proven value, while offering flexibility for Miami to strengthen other positions. While exact numbers remain undisclosed, the murmurs suggest a contract structure designed to reward performance while incentivizing team success. a model that could redefine how running backs negotiate their worth in a league increasingly focused on quarterback-centric investments. Commentators have pointed out that Taylor's decision to join Miami reflects a broader trend of elite players seeking teams where their skills are maximized, and his rumored arrival aligns with the Dolphins' recent aggressive moves in free agency and draft strategy. Fans are already projecting fantasy football implications, imagining Taylor's yards, touchdowns, and highlight plays as central to Miami's identity. The rumor mill has created a scenario where every passing play, every rushing attempt, is now being analyzed through the lens of how Taylor might elevate the Dolphins' entire offensive scheme, turning speculation into near certainty for those eager to witness the shift. The atmosphere surrounding the Dolphins' training facility reportedly mirrors the frenzy online, with staff and players absorbing the news while quietly preparing for what could be a historic season. Insiders suggest that Taylor's presence could foster mentorship among younger players, instilling a work ethic and level of professionalism that has occasionally been missing in Miami's backfield. The impact is predicted to go beyond the field, influencing locker room culture, team cohesion, and even marketing strategies, as Taylor's star power could attract sponsorships and national attention that Miami has long sought. Fans are speculating about jersey sales, social media trends, and even local business booms linked to the excitement surrounding Taylor. Analysts note that the Dolphins now have the potential to craft a narrative of transformation, positioning themselves as a team willing to take bold, ambitious risks to achieve long-term success, with Taylor as the centerpiece of this revitalized identity. Sports media pundits are analyzing every angle, from defensive adjustments by rival teams to potential playoff scenarios that Taylor could influence. Rumors suggest that coaches are already planning packages designed specifically to exploit Taylor's combination of speed, agility, and power, creating dynamic matchups that could redefine how Miami attacks opponents. Fans on Twitter and TikTok are sharing breakdowns of past highlights, debating whether Taylor's running style complements Miami's offensive line or whether adjustments will be needed to maximize his effectiveness. The conversation has transcended traditional sports analysis, with fantasy football players, casual fans, and diehard supporters all weighing in, creating a communal sense of anticipation. The rumor, now on the verge of confirmation, has transformed into a narrative of hope, strategy, and excitement, with Jonathan Taylor symbolizing the possibility of a Dolphins team capable of challenging long-established powerhouses in the AFC, a tantalizing prospect for fans craving success and glory. Finally, the potential Taylor signing has sparked a broader discussion about the balance of talent, strategy, and ambition in today's NFL. Analysts suggest that this move reflects a league-wide shift where elite players increasingly control their destinies, influencing franchise trajectories and competitive landscapes. The Dolphins, often overlooked in off-season chatter, now find themselves at the center of speculation, with every practice, play call, and personnel decision being interpreted through the lens of Taylor's rumored arrival. Social media communities are abuzz with predictions, from win-loss projections to playoff scenarios, while commentators debate whether Taylor alone can transform Miami into a perennial contender or if this is the start of a larger, more systemic team evolution. Rumors, reports, and subtle confirmations have created a combustible mix of excitement and intrigue, setting the stage for what could be one of the most talked-about seasons in recent memory, all hinging on the confirmation of Jonathan Taylor as a Dolphin. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.